This video is on reciprocal trig functions and their inverses. Hi everybody, thanks for stopping in. Let me remind you to subscribe, like the video, and comment down below for ideas that you have for future videos or questions you might have. Thank you. What's a reciprocal identity in trigonometry? Well, that is the reciprocal of sine is the cosecant. 1 over sine equals cosecant of theta. The reciprocal of cosine is secant. 1 over cosine of theta is equal to secant. And then there's tangent and cotangent, or reverse it. The reciprocal of cotangent is tangent. 1 over cotangent equals tangent. You can write this either way. They're equal. Some are easier to use than others, and I'll show you when it is easier in this video. We'll be using a calculator, a scientific calculator, to look some of these up. If you'd like to get that out right now, you'll be helped by this. And the reciprocal of the secant is the cosine. Sometimes that's hard to keep straight. The reciprocal of the cosecant is sine. What is a reciprocal? Well, the reciprocal of 4 is 1 over 4. 1/4 times 4 is equal to 1. The reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. 2/3 times 3/2 is 1. A reciprocal means you put 1 over it, which basically flips the fraction over. So, just a way to help you remember this, remember that reciprocal is different from inverse. Reciprocal is standing on your head. Inverse means to reverse. There's a difference. So let's do the cosecant of 34 degrees. You'll notice the angle is given. We're trying to find the trig ratio. Now, if you go on a calculator and a lot of trig tables, you won't be able to see cosecant of 34 degrees, but you can use the reciprocal 1 over the sine of 34 degrees to find out what that is. Now, I looked up the sine of 34, which is 0.55919, and divided it into 1 to give you the intermediate step. I could have just put this in as it is, and that would have given me 1.78829. 1.78829. Now again, what I found was a trig ratio. A ratio is a fraction. This is the fraction of the two sides for cosecant. And as a reminder, I did this on the calculator. These are the actual steps that I put into the calculator, and one big issue is right here, the degree mark. You want to make sure that's there. That's through this button. It should be a DR and DRG, radians. If you have RAD down here and you're in degrees, you are not going to get the right answer. So again, it's 1 over sine of 34, which is 1.78829. You can see up here on the screen. That's exactly what I did. Again, if you were in radians, you are going to come out with the wrong answer, 1.89. That'll be wrong. You would need to always check the mode, the angle mode that you're in. So no, this wouldn't work. Now, cotangent of 79 degrees, well, what's the reciprocal of cotangent? Well, tangent. Now, your calculator has tangent on it. It doesn't have cotangent. And again, as an intermediate step, I looked up the tangent of 79 is 5.14455 and divided it into 1. Now, you, again, can just do all of this step right here at once, as long as you're in degree mode, and you would get 0.19438. You can round that to whatever place they ask you for. Typically, people do that to 4 places. Again, we knew the angle, and we're trying to find the trig ratio. The trig ratio is 0.19438. This is the ratio of the sides adjacent over opposite, not opposite over adjacent, which is tangent. And one more time, this is the calculator steps that I put in 1 over the tangent of 79, making sure I'm in degree mode. And of course, down here is the inverse of tangent and the regular tangent right here. Okay, now we're going to move on to inverse reciprocals. So let's start with secant. Given secant of x is 1.7013. That is the trig ratio. What is unknown is x, the angle. Since I don't have secant on my calculator, I have cosine. Since I know the secant of x value, I'm going to use the trig reciprocal cosine of x equals 1 over secant of x. Now, since I know the secant of x is 1.7013, I'm going to substitute it in its place. Since I'm missing the angle x, I now can put this as an inverse and bring the trig ratio 1 over 1.7013 over. Now these are still the same statement. Cosine of x equals this fraction. I just rewrote it in another way. This is calculator ready, and this shows me it as a trig ratio. X stands for the angle I'm missing. So if I look that up on my calculator, I get 53.999. Of course, that's probably 54. It's very close. 54 would probably be the right answer there. Remember, the trig ratio is given and the angle is to be found. On the last two we did, we knew the degrees, we knew the angle to start with, which is actually easier. And again, when I looked this up on my calculator, I substituted this in. I took the inverse statement here, look up here, that's exactly what I put in. You can't see all the decimals that I put in. And it gave me the 53. And again, I was in degree mode, so I got a degree answer, not a radian answer. Be careful. Whatever mode your calculator is in is the mode of the angle that you're getting, either degrees or radians. Another one here to try is cosecant of x equals 5.24084. Now, again, I would write the reciprocal as sine of x equals 1 over cosecant because we know the cosecant of x has a trig ratio of 5.28084. Now, when I write this in a calculator-friendly form, I'm going to use the inverse sign. Inverse means reverse. So I bring the trig ratio over here. X is the unknown angle. I always use inverse when I don't know the angle and need to find it. And I find out that my answer is 11. So again, when I put that on my calculator, I did sine inverse because I have sine here. I don't have cosecant, I have sine. 1 over 5.24084 gives me 11 degrees. You can see it's degrees. That's the angle that I need to have.